Welcome to the Inkblot Oracle weekly pick a card reading. I love that you're here, so thank you. Come on in, pull up a chair. We have 3 ink blots. Actually, they're still drying a little bit. If any which one is calling out to you, we're going to be stepping into the lenses of light for messages from beyond the veil, whether that's from pets, animals, a message you need to hear, a word that sparks an inspiration, maybe how we're seeing a situation through a lens, but the luminescence and lenses of light. So if you're attracted to number 1, or you know the drill, you can come back. This might be Saturday, a 1-3-2, come back on different days. So here we are. This is opaque. Take it in if anything is standing out. Timestamps below. Number 2, see if I can get the lighting to work best I can because the sun is starting to come out. Translucence. See if it takes it in. Might need to get a little bit of a look at that though. And then transparent here. Now this might be the most quote unquote difficult to see as it's all light. I don't even know if that there a little bit. But sometimes what doesn't seem apparent becomes apparent. I will see you at your choice chosen. Timestamps below. Thank you for sharing, and subscribing. I'll see you there. Welcome to number 1, pick a card portal. Take it in, take it in. We'll add cards in the shaman's palm layout, wander through the caves. We're also going to add in a little automatic writing here off to the side if any divine doodles come through. And you can't see it right now. And if you're familiar with the House of Scrying, I've got ghost tube going on here. There's a house. Actually, I think it's like a motel. I don't know. Yeah, it's not working out today. But if anything comes up, I will show you. All right, let's dig in. As soon as I slap this Inkblot down, and if I recall, it's in opaque. Yes, no light, or the lens of no light. This is not to be confused with. Okay, so there's something about instigating. This could be a male presence, whoever this male is to you, and they've got their eyes down and up. They might also have a goatee or a beard, or there's some sort of facial hair. And there is some sort of domineering, whether it's our own masculine energy in this case, or if it's been externalized to someone or something else. Quite sharp, so there's an intelligence here, but it's severity is the word I just heard. Severity. And off to the side here, it's like, come closer, come closer. Okay, so this message might be for 1, thank you for holding space, or the storyline. There's something that this energy, if you know who this person, place, or thing is, they are listening to something that feeds them. I don't want to be so rash and say false something or other, but I'm trying to be kind. One moment. Maybe there's an insecurity here or a feeling of lack of power. And so they're listening to something that is noticing that. It's kind of like an entity attachment. It is a teacher. It's not preying on this weakness, even though this feels so far from what looks like and feels like weakness. It's overbearing, it's severe, it's instigating. Could also be something about a hotel, motel, closer to a motel or a very small hotel. If there's a loved one or somebody that you know or a situation in your area about something going on in there. And I'm seeing that show like Bates Motel, but not so, maybe there is something with the mother line or in the way somebody was raised. So there's an understanding and compassion, but not to fall prey to the power dynamics. And I think that maybe you've had some sort of interaction with this and have gotten away because you've realized this entity attachment. Yeah. Sorry, I was just being stopped. Okay, so there's something about this dwelling that's here, and there's all these beings around it, and because it's like a magician. Oh my gosh, heavens, hot dog's face, calling in other aspects. So now this feels like an energy that has no lens for anyone else but itself. And so it calls and almost like preys on other people's weaknesses, soul aspects. There's something about like soul retrieval and maybe people on that journey looking to strengthen, and they're like, hold on a minute, before they hit that point or feel that point, there is a moment to kind of like lure. It feels almost a little culty, right? When there's something, it's uncomfortable. And it's interesting because I'm just like seeing myself in my shirt, and I normally don't wear a whole lot. Well, because, you know, how long will it take to get ink on this? We can start placing our bets now. But I'm hearing this song, excuse me, on the good ship, lollipop, da, 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 from the candy shop. So it could be like something about the 50s and the 60s. There, whether this is a person born at that time or that was the heightened time of something, that something bad happened here. Something bad happened here. And if I wandered off, sorry, not sorry, in one line of example of this, because this kind of energy person can step into many different uniforms, different skins, positions that maybe we wouldn't even think of anything like that. So let me step into this one. It's almost like, and I'm not defining for anyone, but in the lore of utilize your imagination, what like a dark black magician would be, because they're controlled by something else, and there's a hunger they can never feed, and it's completely codependent on consuming from outside. It is not an ecosystem or energy that is suffice and peace within the self. But this energy in and of itself has also, because of that, and while it may feel like the predator to the prey, it's actually the prey to another predator. Does that make sense? This also feels very paranormal, and there's something about a power dynamic about that. And paranormal in the way that's not like a para, but it's in the deeper spaces of such, even in our psyche, right? Yeah, because the reason why I'm wandering over to that magic part of it, or however you might relate. Again, I'm not defining or in any way judging white, black magic, red magic, gold magic. Surfacely, sure, that's really easy, but that's not the case, and that's not a truth. That's easy to look for blame. And I feel like maybe if you're here in this message, you understand what it feels like when someone or something else outside of us, a mirror, if we may, and if we must, has no lens for seeing you, but they do see something about you that they can consume for their benefit. And if I can, for this moment, because I'm seeing a circle here and there's all these people around, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's about 5, and they call it in. Oh, it feels away. Here's the image that's coming through. Hopefully you can see it okay off to the side. It feels ceremonial. I feel like there's ceremony around it. And I think this is why, to some degree or another, I'm hesitating to accuse to magicians or, lawyers, something that's very easy. Yes, that's there. And it might be a father figure, a grandfather, somebody in a position of power that it would be almost unbelievable. Or it could be your neighbor that was so kind, and yet it rolls out that they were this, murderous kind of villain, and like nobody knew. Okay, but this, if I can wander into it personally, and it feels like there's ceremony around it, there's ritual, there are rules, and whatever these rules are, they're being followed again by something else, because this energy is hearing something. Give me the next call. And they also listen. It's like in one ear they hear this maker or master, I don't know what to call it, but we're here, receive or release freely. Maybe this is en masse, maybe this is something you notice. And then in the other side, they're listening for others that they can step into. The beautiful moment here is that I'm stepping in, recognizing this, and we can place ourselves in little parts of it, the different kinds of power dynamics. And they're teachers to show that you have something that is so valuable. People, places, or things will go to, or entities, energies will go to great lengths to fine-tune a skill set, whatever the case is, to retrieve this. The teaching of this is maybe for IUME to recognize that, because this feels like the lens of no lens of seeing this darkness is some form ignorance. You don't have ignorance. So you're like, okay, if you've been in this situation, here's another image that's coming through. Maybe something from when you were a child, and see how there's 3 of them here. And we were talking about, while there is 5, it's like placing them in there. Let's see if I can leave this without it causing a kerfuffle. But I am beautiful kerfuffle. Let's see if that's helpful. The souls coming into the house instead of out of the chimney, they're coming into the chimney. This person, place, or thing, this no lens is haunted, and not in the way that I love me some haunted, in a way that truly is in and of itself a captive. And if there's some part of you, this is very distracting, so I will bring it out if there's something there. Okay, let's add on some cards and see where we're going from here. And if you see anything, see, sense, or feel anything, and we'll give this a flip. There's also a large mirror here. So it's almost like this is a reflection of, say one is a light worker, and you know you're in that term light worker, and however you exude that. And that light worker is not ignorant to the darkness that befalls around and may fall prey to as well. There's that wisdom at work feels very important to see and feel here. And that wisdom you have. There's something about a ring. So this could be something that you're familiar with in a person, place, or thing with this entity, or within ourselves, that has made a commitment consciously, kind of what we call soul contracts here, just to get the terminology, you know, to fall, magician, to fall out of our face. We get it. We get it. Taking the artistry. And this deck is, I will try and tag her below, Oleana. Beautiful. You know, I love me art. That's how I read first. So I dig it. It's like these potions. I'm also seeing Hansel and Gretel, and maybe something about when that those children came through. And I'm also seeing from when those 3 children came through, Charmed, in the spirit of, not verbatim to, you know, floof up our I'm special kind of feathers, but to sploosh up the very space of your essence has a scent. And yeah, it's a signature scent, which in and of itself makes us all in our own way, nothing, something or nothing, whatever the case is. And it's almost like, if you're here, if I may, just like one little caveat as it steps through, sometimes I feel like maybe you've, I want to say maybe dimmed, but that's not, it's just I'm nobody, you know. And there's a wisdom to that as well. Maybe it's monk world, guru world, I'm not sure where this is coming from, but it's almost like in the space of saying I'm nobody. And that lens as well may have a place for you, that you know why you're utilizing that cloak of invisibility. There's another word there, but I don't know it. I'm trying to get it closer to the tip of my tongue. because it's almost like maneuvering through without trying to affect everything. It's being very accountable, but also in this space, if I may, it's like sometimes we might say, well, I'm nobody, I'm not special. Being not special or not saying you're special doesn't mean you're nobody. And I'm not probably saying this right, but it might be a shying away from that, to be like, well, I don't feel special. I don't exude, like whatever the case is. And maybe we can look at those things of that lens. That's like the blinders to say, but that's maybe what the signature scent you see in others, but that doesn't define special for all, because some folks are also special. Their specialty is being a victim, and their specialties in body and mind. Wherever the heck I am in this, it's like knowing the benefits of the lens of the light and the dark and the this and the that, of being a nobody and a somebody simultaneously, and when to utilize those, and also to be mindful and not to take any opportunities away from yourself to be like, well, no, I'm nobody. Okay, well then if you're a nobody, then you're a nobody. But then also sometimes you can be like, I am a cloak of invisibility. I am nobody. You do not see me. It is very powerful. Likewise, I just want to note this magician in the cave of ice is that they can also utilize this energy. They have utilized this as a skill set. And this is in the cave of ice. So one, maybe this is something that is de-thawing within you to recognize that ability to alchemize these lenses of no light, and you've traveled the darkness. Maybe you go on shamanic journeys. Maybe you isolate, like sensory deprivation, purposefully, confidently, to be like, I would like to hone in on other senses to hear. You get it? Yeah, I get it. I feel it in the moment. Hopefully I've done well enough to express it. Something done consciously. But there's a difference when somebody is run by something, whether it's of their own self or another, and thinking it is them, but it is not. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the magician within you, in this story, if I may, is de-thawing. Maybe it's your alchemist. And notably, if there's anyone or anything around you that has been trying to or has been tapped in for one reason or another, teaching moment, maybe it's asking you to consider finding an interest, whatever modality, way, or reasoning that feels good for you. It could be crocheting, like I'm seeing a stitch witch, I think they're called, when they like crochet or knit, and that's how they do their work. For you, it might be remodeling houses, painting, cars, whatever the case is, lawyering, whatever way your modality is to infuse that skill set and to continue to fine tune it feels important. Three of Swords in the cave of, winds of the mind, literally of the swords. I think that there's been a part of you that has been hibernating, and something, if you're still here, being punished by perhaps this energy entity from before. And if you have freed yourself from it, it's like taking this moment to go, oy vey. First of all, maybe in some cases, it's like, is this a reality? Is this really happening? On stage, personal, professional. It's almost like looking, what is that saying? Like people will tell you who they are, not just by their words, by their body movements. And we don't need to be paranoid about it. There's just something there. Let's stay here if it's on you. You're alchemizing this and coming out of a buried state. There's something about a hopelessness here. And even that hopelessness was a hostage that kept feeding something. There's a dog in here. There's also elephants, but they are crossing. I don't know if elephants, excuse me, mean anything to you, but they are like doing their herd thing. No, that's not the right word. Migration, some sort of migration, and you are migrating towards the teaching of it. Fantastic. There is a celebration coming up here as well that I'm seeing on Goes To. Anyway. Congratulations. In the Cave of Hearth Fires, 5 of Pentacles and the Wheel of Fortune. This is the change. This is the shift. This is nobody and the somebody of the Heart of Hearts. This is 5 of Pentacles. Okay. Yes, we can all in some way, shape, or form acknowledge when a feeling left out or out in the cold, all the case. This story is so old, that's what it feels like. Take the teaching and frickin' run with it. I understand there's been heartbreak. I also want to note as a caveat here, there's this, somebody has passed and has left a significant burden on someone of the living to handle or deal with. Like maybe there's things you're finding out. It feels like there's something very burdensome that has happened after their passing. And my condolences. It's almost like in your heart of hearts, maybe your heart feels handicapped at this time, but this is the nobody to somebody, and the somebody is a nobody, and understanding these lenses of your ability, your fire of creation, notably in the artistry, like here's like that illumination, but I'm seeing it as that basketball. And I kind of want to say, like, imagine this is like the Michael Jordan sitting right there, taking a seat and watching. There's also, this is a very interesting energy to the other story. There's somebody that maybe around you has historically, whatever their position is, pretended like they cannot do, and you do for them. They're pretending, or they're dragging something out. They're exaggerating something. It hurts the heart. It hurts the heart. Yeah, I want to draw this line here. There's also something about under the floorboards of the house and or the land. It's like something that's been being done or was done in a unknown, like the location is unknown. Somebody red rum. Is that kind of from the beginning of the hotel motel? I'm back into the mirror. Death is on the bottom. Yeah, it is a woman. Younger girl. I don't know how to age that. She's helping other souls now that are going through something similar. She's the teacher that's helping teachers see that they're really teachers. Cave of Rivers. Queen of Wands. Okay. Taking the art, if it means anything. Not being blinded by the scent with the flowers there. When people can, or energies can change the way they emit a scent to you, like a pheromone, it's like covering up your natural scent. I'm not poo-pooing, scents, but it's like the senses of sight to see it for what it is, see this person for what it is. That maybe you're like, I have a sense that they're really passive aggressive, or the way they say things, you say it even to yourself. You're like, I know this is happening. And also to acknowledge when we want that to be the case, but because we have a reoccurring story, because we're like, this makes us feel powerful to be like, yeah, they want something, or they're being this way, because like we know when we're telling ourselves those stories, we may not like it or admit it or be like, screw you, Steph, and that's fine. That's okay. You do you. But it's sensing even the false pheromones Yeah. There's a graveyard coming up here. There's something about a grave digger as well, finding the bones and bodies of those who were buried from before under the flowers. Under the flowers. This also feels like, for me, when I'm coming in here, because it's leading me back to the side, it's leading, there's a handshake up here. So this energy Queen of Wands, greets this space of like your signature scent to their signature scent. But you know, if there's been, it's like layered with something. Side note as well, there could be somebody that is in grief, disappointment, a state of grief in one of the stages, and you're just trying to like smile and put flowers on the table, bring flowers to the grave, or to, do the best you can to smile as steps to live again. Yeah. Cave of Earth is Page of Swords. There's something very interesting about sitting with and by the self. Four of Swords is on the bottom. I keep hearing this song. How do I live without you? I can't remember who it's by, but I feel like I want to be like, how do I live without you? I don't know, there's something. It's almost like you can like really dramatize parts that we feel in our soul. And I'm sitting quietly now. This might also be part of your magic, is your ability to sit in, I say, in your own scent, cultivate your own scent, cover your scent when that is a protective measure, like that cloak from other energies that you're like, just not interested, not interested, not interested. I'm also now hearing this song from Daft Punk. Around the world, around the world, around the world, around the world. Okay, we're going over there. Something about tunnel vision, windows of opportunity, look for the exhaust, follow the clues, something about counting sheep, so maybe sleep or a sleep state, something about Africa. I feel like I want to say, like, in my world, when I see this energy, and it's almost like he's overtaking the Inkblot, and I can't see anything else beyond that. And it's like, okay, see me. You want me to see you. Okay, great. I understand. That's not the point. It's like almost in a character reference, like Jafar from Aladdin. There's somebody close in a position, and yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's hit on a few oracle cards and we'll close this out. Happiness, more flowers. Even with those flowers, it's like her eyes can smell the scents in the sky by utilizing the stems of the flowers. It's the Three of Swords, and the Cave of Winds of the mind is balanced emotions. And I think this is what is happening here with your lenses. Make it big, make it small. Your perspective is coming into balance. Your prescription may be even changing. Your prescription of people that you surround yourself with. There's not even an avoidance here. Yes, I can see how we may in some way, shape, or form, we may avoid. Okay, you got to make it's almost like, again, when we make that conscious decision to say, I'm not avoiding this because, I'm scared. I'm avoiding it because it's not for me. And no salesman of any sort is going to tell you otherwise, because there's something here about them saying it's to their benefit, not to yours, but they lead with your benefit. But I feel like you can just sniff it out. You're like, but you're not listening to me. I said I don't need the vacuum. I have a vacuum. So you can try and sell me the greatest vacuum possible, but you're still not listening to the fact that I said I don't need a vacuum. I'm not looking for a vacuum, and I don't want to replace a vacuum that's working perfectly fine for me. This message is more obscure than normal, and I love it. Follow your happiness. There is a Zen feel here, and maybe you are cultivating within the self. It's almost like a Pandora's box, but I don't mean that to be closed off. It's like a black box of Zen. Yeah, I like it. Cave of Hearth Fires. Let's go. Finding love. If there's in any sort of way, if this has anything to do with money, love, romance, whatever the case is, I see the shift from being a nobody to a somebody. But it's almost like the story of the struggle and the striving. Yes, it has its place, but what's attached to it emotionally is different. Now you just tell the story as, and I struggled and I persevered, but it's like you're not there anymore. You're not feeding off of even your own story to say, this is what's propelling me, so I feel better about why this is happening, or something along that lines. Again, I feel bad that I'm not probably saying this well, but at the same time, it's a dark canvas. Yeah. And that's okay. That's okay. So yes, in your heart of hearts, will I find love again? Yes. What is that love? We get to define that. Mindfulness in the cave of rivers. Mantis and butterflies might be standing out to you. Yeah, okay. I'm seeing somebody like me. Like, good fortune is on the bottom. When you see okay, it's like in that space when they talk about being chosen or chosen ones, right? And if you've with me from the House of Scrying, it's like, if you want to be chosen, choose your chosenness, and then you devote whatever it is that you're doing, because you chose it. That's so powerful. But here it feels like someone's like, you're at a restaurant and somebody chooses to come up to you and say, hi, would you like to go on a date? I don't know. However you might approach people nowadays. Been married way too long for this. Or you're looking for a new job and you just happen to be at Tim Hortons and overhearing something, and somebody comes up to you and says something. You're like, oh, you're choosing me? Oh my God. Me? And that's how I'm seeing it. Me? Yes, you. Now, acknowledge that. That feels good, because it turns like the nobody to the somebody that's a nobody, the yada yada yadas, in this harmony of like these seahorses. But still listen. Still listen. Closing out message, Cave of Earth. Okay. Yeah. Still listen. Still listen with concealment, because a magician, maybe, and we're just using that term big old loosely here, whatever context that may be in, and is supported with healing energy, because your energy could be helping something that is a hurting energy, and that makes the hurting energy happy, but makes you, it conceals that it's not healing for you. Maybe we take that out for a moment. Maybe we just take it out in the moment that just stay diligent, blinders on or off, Listen to what people say, their behaviors, if they follow up, if they don't, like let their whole essence speak to you. It's kind of like in the red flag thing. Listen to that. Probably your spirit team as well, you know, refereeing the situation. But we're going to close out this number one. Oh my goodness, if you've made it through. I'm very happy that while much has been going on, maybe in this space where there's things that do happen at the dark for a reason, there's the least amount of eyes. It's easy to maneuver, or easier to maneuver. Okay, and all that put aside, I'm not trying to be rude to anyone passing in regards to red rum and the despair of grief that's being held. It does not define, it is, but my heart reaches out to you. I want to land in here personally. The magician within you, the alchemist within you, your awareness, very, very happy with your progress, because I think you've already done this, alchemizing in maybe different forms and contexts, and you've gotten snippets of it, and you no longer stay and lean into this opaque, no light lens for no reason. When you're there, there's a reason, there's value, and you're stepping in as that space that says, I'm ready to learn, and then embody it as a teaching within yourself that, again, maybe you infuse by the way you talk to your family, your partner, whatever the case is. And this isn't all being all nicey, and oh, I don't rock waters. This is just about being, dare I say, matter of fact. So yes, determined, devoted, but not to the degree of a detriment, and being so open that we get yourself in situations that can break your heart. It's like, or being part of a scam that gets your money. Wherever this message went, I hope it did serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. Thank you for being here each week to the Inkblot Oracle. All the links are below in the description box. If you'd like to join us for the May Live that's coming up on Zoom, I think on the 15th, you're welcome. It's intimate. If you want to step in for that sip and scry, you can join the mailing list. What else we got going on? I feel like there's things. The Oracle cards are still on pre-order. The order is going in at the June 1st. So if you want to get in on the second print, ooh, Queen of Swords just popped out. Love it. If you want to get in on that. Anyway, I love you. I will see you again soon. Hello, welcome to Translucent. Oh. Take it in. The sun's starting to come out, so do the best I can for you here. Still a little bit wet. It's almost like one of those weird, like, glimmer things from when I was a kid, or like those stickers that you can make and go shiny. Fascinating, really. I'll stop moving it for you. I also have Ghost Tube here off to the side, Ghost Tube Seer, so if anything does come up, I will speak to it or show you. When you're ready. Translucence. Very veily. Very veily. Oh, something is emerging. I'm hearing howling as well. A happy howling, a happy howling. This lens of translucence feels as though it's like being able to, I just heard like astigmatism, and navigate with astigmatism. There's a woman. She's coming forward. She's emerging. It's like I can just, there's so much light behind her that she inherently, whether this is an apparition, a spirit, somebody might be working with the deity Hecate type thing. I'm not, it's in the spirit of, in that realm of. Something about a snow globe. What is she saying? She does have wings. It's like she in and of herself, because there's so much luminescence behind her and looking shadowy, but it's just simply from the contrast. Something's coming into focus if you're here. You have like with the astigmatism. And LED lights. I feel like the ethereal is kind of staticky like water here. And I just heard Palladian, so somebody else might utilize concept constructs, beings that are otherworldly. Something about visitations. And your line or lineage from like, I'm going to say back in the day, but I mean, this is, I'm seeing like, I think it's Anne of Green Gables. Like pilgrimage stuff here. And maybe you're on a personal pilgrimage. Somebody past life perhaps has their hands cut off. Somebody's trying to give me a hug. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little like, why are you trying to give me a hug? So who is this? It feels more otherworldly. Again, if I may, it's like they're happy to see me and I don't know why. I'm like, why do I have amnesia? And maybe, or there's some space of that, or like take that concept and place it where, like, because we're here, we have a certain amount of amnesia of not remembering. And they're like, we're so happy to see you and welcoming. And I'm like, who are you? Why? I don't know you. And so there's this hesitancy, and they're doing their best. It feels like in stages that they come into your either your peripheral or into your auric field, like closer, because I feel like they observe a lot from afar. Yeah, I'll use that term. That's the way we receive it. But it feels more like dimensionally, like veily. But we calculate it as far. Yeah, we calculate it as far, but it's like not. Anyway, they know you and you do know them, but there's just this amnesic kind of feel. I'm gonna just take a moment here. When are you like a veil walker? Thresholds. There's a like an if you're watching like one of those fishes or something in the water and they move like that. So I guess it's not a fish. What would that be? Doesn't I'm way too liminal now. It's not going to come through. That's how this feels to move around you. Okay, so right in here, I feel like I can see it clear as day, almost like one of those round, like on House on the Prairie, Anne of Green Gables, maybe something about the prairies, also just that pilgrimage feel. There's also total side story. Don't know where to apply it. Not going to try and make it fit anywhere. There's something being moved that is, it's like if somebody was moving a house and you see a house on the back of like one of those super long trucks and it's like wide loads come in, da da da, and everyone's got to move around because there's a house going down the road. So that's like the energy of seeing this, but I'm seeing this. It's something round, and it also has 2 to 3. They feel like almost like I'm going to use the term monoliths or some sort of mega structure, and it's being moved across the country. I don't know what country, but it's being moved across. It's on a pilgrim. Something's being moved. It's something about a setup, like it's being set up. So as it's being moved, it's not the thing in and of itself. It might be like another point of reference. And now I'm seeing, what are those? Again, I'm way too liminal. I swear I know the words. Like around the world. They're long and tall, not a pyramid. Anyway, I'm gonna get stuck. But this one's slightly different, but it's like it's being put in place. It's being set up as maybe a receiver or a conductor. Can I wander back into the personal pilgrimage for a moment? I think that you have a feeling about this. There's something that you feel because your lenses have the ability, it's like daytime, nighttime, night vision, day vision, psychic sense to also good instincts. This is more instinct and intuition. This is exactly what this is. Not defining, but in this moment, it's like instinct feels like the masculine energy's intuition, and intuition is the feminine energy's instinct. And while they're different, there's a distinct similarity of them, and maybe where you feel them in your body. I want to show you the image that's coming up on GhostTube. There's like it's tunneling, this burrowing, and there's people there. And these people are here. Circular thing. Maybe it's a tunnel system too. Is that how somebody's moving something? Do you know what I also want to know? There's someone or something. My condolences. I feel like, and maybe you're sick or there's something going on, or maybe just you're looking at different. You start caring or thinking, really caring about, when you're going to pass or die. Who will be there for me? They're blatantly be. Do you know what's funny? It's like in that moment, I feel like I, you, we, me, or there. We're like, who will be there? But I see them seeing you coming through that tunnel when it's your time. I'm seeing a Chihuahua dog a Chihuahua dog. He was an older Chihuahua dog. He's so sweet. He has since he's resting in peace, but he like sends you like little, I don't know, these little noises like, oh my goodness. Like maybe every so often you can just kind of like, you smell, your little Chihuahua Frito nut, little toe beans. But he still kicks around and he's kind of like a Yoda. It's like maybe you had this little Chihuahua or very small dog that had passed, and yet they were Yoda energy. So there's something about capacity that we might not be able to conceive of such a wide wisdom in the size of a little Frito bean Chihuahua as the example, and or how we might from that space of like distance. And I'm not a science person, but I'm just doing my best to express the feeling like they feel far, space and time, but there's degrees of it, and yes, they are far, but they're close, and it's all very obviously it's not a problem to cure or solve, but it is something to I think discover. You know what? Curious reading. I'm not, okay, that's fine. I love the curiosity. What's this? Because I can see you over here. Somebody's pointing to something and they're pointing to this. I don't know what that is, but it feels like a scramble. Maybe there's a scramble device. Are those real? Hmm. There's different kinds of 3 different kinds of protection. And if you're here, maybe it's in the spirit of the different kinds of lenses and the veils and the threshold that you wander and maneuver through or have the ability of, and or it's like when somebody is a triple threat. The something is rising up though, and it feels sleepy. Oh, okay. I'm going to touch on it because I can see the story here. There's a being here. This is the head that's rising up. I'm going to use the term, but not to define in any way, shape, or form beyond just the spirit of it's like this is being summoned through. And yeah, I think in this space, if I may, before I leap out of it, there's an insinuation that whatever this is that has since in this, whether it's science, spirituality, or any other layer in between that has been summoned forward, there seems to be this human space of it that says, okay, well, now we've done all the things, we've called you forward, or whatever this energy is, woken up, and now you work for us, like we are in control. It feels very naive. And uh-oh. Okay, let's start adding on some cards. To the threshold walker of the veils of the light and dark and the mists of the in-between. Ooh, I see. I think it's like a parrot or a cockatoo. They're on a branch. I could say owl, but you know what? I just heard the song. You need a bird dog. Dun, 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 dun. I can't remember the words unless I was hearing it on the radio. Johnny kissed the teacher. He's a bird. He tiptoed up to reach her. Johnny's teacher's pet now. What a dog. I don't know. Cave of Ice. Freedom. Behind that came mastery. I'm keeping it in the reverse. Don't be confused that this has anything to do with you personally. I think this is what this little bit of a thing here is. And forging. So, okay. IUE me in whatever space this may be in this message to receive personally. There's an eyeball coming through with bars on it. Seeing the forest through the trees. Something also about reflexes. Something about leaps and bounds for you, freedom to perceive. And I think it's because you can go in and out of these. And is it the translucence? Yeah, the translucence. And in a weird way, no, it's not weird. It is what it is. Your loyalties that maybe overextended or were like loyal to a fault is done. Now, how you might delicately start to detangle, detach from those things. Maybe you have a delicacy about it. Maybe you're cutthroat about it. You do you. But I'm just noticing the freedom from certain loyalties that what I feel like were holding you back. And it taught you something, whatever that teaching was, and you're like, okay, and now you're free from that. Following this other story that was over here that I really didn't want to touch on, it's just from that human space of from being that perspective of thinking like you've summoned the master, but you think you're the master summoning it, and now like that master, that summoning works for you. It's even with the forge card here, it's like, but we did all the things. Yeah, whoever this is, or whatever area this is in of our own minds, and maybe a dramatic way of seeing a certain part of our psychology playing out. I want to note, for back to IUE me, more personally speaking, the work that you have done that is in regards to self-mastery, that is propelled by self-sovereignty and doesn't succubus, doesn't do that, you have dethawed your freedom. A freedom, another layer of that freedom, because you have gone through all of these, like the smoke and frickin' mirrors of it all. And we're not poo-pooing the smoke and mirrors. We're not saying what a waste of our time. We're here. It can't be a waste of our time. We are here. So that is amazing. Let's do it. We don't even need to rush through it. There's a tongue sticking out with a smile. I feel so happy. And it's not in this cheeky way, but like, na 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 boo boo, I got freedom. You know, it's just like this. Yeah, like be proud of yourself. I don't know, be proud of yourself. Because once that's happened within the self, let's say the initial, especially if you've come from one, and you can feel that initial, like the puppet master forging the non-freedom, the cage of this circle just going round and round and round. It's like, get me off this merry-go-round. And you're like, well, figure out a way. It's all super creepy. But you did, you got off the merry-go-round. Also, something about an island. Maybe you felt alone, you're on an island. Good for you for changing things up. Maybe even what you think, quote unquote, mastery looks like, feels like, talks like. And then just before I move on, because again, this summoning thing, whatever's going on down here, they have freed something. They have called forth and forged a frequency that will also remind whoever them is who is their master. Unfortunately, it feels like there are other casualties in regards to this. There is a bigger picture. If I was to say what I'm hearing, no, there's nothing I could say to make it even remotely even like palatable for the tongue to say, okay, well, that makes sense. It's okay. Because that's not the point. But there is opportunities and there are reasonings that may feel very far away. But they're closer. Bird dog. In the cave of winds is fearless. I like this bison card. Is it a bison? I feel like it's a bison. Somebody works with spirit guides that are like it feels like protection. It's like to the triple threat. This is triple trust. Apply your trifecta how you will, how you would speak to that. Mother, Maiden, Crone, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, as above, so below, and finish it. Finish it. Don't stop where it's convenient. In this moment, I don't even know what, like this monolith, megalith, I don't even know what it's called. I'm too far liminal. Thank you, though. That's why I love this when we can just like comment below. Don't finish the quote where it's convenient. Finish the quote. Look at what's around it. Context can be a huge key to something, or at least very revealing. And I feel like if you are in this this translucency of tangibility to third eye, if we may and if we must apply the instinct and intuition, you can see. Doesn't mean it's likable, doesn't mean it's like, oh yay. You also don't see everything as a challenge. You don't see it as a threat, and you don't immediately that's a very interesting sensation. I'm seeing a bison and then a moose crossing the road. And they just kind of are. Polarity coming through in the cave of hearth fires. That something is being traveled and has been opened. Oh God, maybe even the first one. I think, if I recall, we talked about Pandora's box in there. Damn it, chaos is on the bottom. Hmm. Hmm. You listen to the sounds of the universe to calm, not on behalf of the chaos or what may be even our own chaos. Maybe work with hertz tones, whatever the case is. And you also don't fall into hypnosis because you hear a mantra over and over and over again and then realize we've hypnotized ourselves to just, you are. Mm, mm, it's for your sanity. And so you can continue to care, dare I say, for humanity. Like, big scope of it all. I saw you just like peek out at me, and now I'm not really sure. There's these, you see, you might have to zoom in. I don't know if the light will allow it to come through. See these little devils here? Little devils. So there's something in him. Does sound help you move? It's like moving through walls through sound. But I really just see you sitting. I know that's very odd. depending on your age. I don't think new cars do it anymore. You gotta go back in time. 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. When somebody starts up an old like muscle car, souped up, it doesn't even really have to be souped up, but it does enhance certain features. And it, like an old Mustang or GT. That symbol might mean something for someone because it's like I don't know, there's a smile when I just kind of lean into it. Hearing the sound of an old car starter in the driveway when you know somebody's arrived. Are you arriving? Are you arriving? Oh, for heavens and hot dogs, thank you. It's right in here. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Sunlight, there you go. It's right up here anyway, trust me. And it's coming out of this, I don't know if it's like an artichoke or a bloomin' onion. Home and navigate, coming through in the cave of rivers. Imagine, I'm actually seeing this whole cliff as a ship. It's like parking, like hearing that, like maybe it's a boat starting and the motor in the water. I just would know it as a car, an old muscle car. Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way. And your heart of hearts. Okay, thank you. Somebody has a portal in their home, but it is a hallway. It's not haunted. Not in the way, that I like to snuggle up to. This is a hallway that is in like the translucency of this multiple lens. You are like an earthly point of reference that carries this light and dark, right? And it's not about, okay, let me stay on track for a moment. Thank you. And spirits, in the many degrees of which that is a form, I just see it like a hallway through your home. And because of what you have forged through, welcomes what I'm going to call death, but it's really not. I know that's how we know it, but it's not what it is. Where you create a hallway for them, it's like you are the translucency of that. You help holistically is the best word I can use in this space and time. And what's that saying? And I don't know all of it. What you seek also seeks you. Yeah, interdependence. There's an interconnectedness in that holisticness about it. You might be very empathically oriented, or I'm going to say energy worker, actually, and however you're going to put that, plop that. I think this is a monolith. Is there a monolith being put in water, or is it surrounded by water? Like a lighthouse, but make that a monolith, or it's some sort of tower thing. It's transmitting. It's very creepy. I feel like I wander back into the other story, but something about a lizard or a gecko, and they can change their colors. Cave of Earth or Pentacles is the seed. 38 might mean something to you as it's standing out to me here. Kabbalah as a practice, Kabbalah as a religion. Forgive me if I'm using the wrong words, but I feel like there's different directions one can take with that in how maybe one is devoted or of interest. Okay, so I'm in the clouds. Am I actually in the clouds? Let's call it a veil-y, thresholdy type thing. Could be even like that hypnagogic state. It could be lucid dreaming. Kind of feels more like lucid dreaming, but I feel like I went through the clouds of sleep to get here, and then I woke up in the dreamlike state, but I'm not really sure it's like I'm dreaming. Oh, I know I'm lucid dreaming, but I know I went to sleep, and then I wake up, and there's at least one being that I'm talking to. He is sitting. He kind of reminds me of this bison, but put him in a being. It can be a him or a her. I'm just seeing it as masculine energy. I think it's like your spirit team, spirit guide. I think that in the space of, I'm also seeing a dragon with like white light or white fire coming out. And you know when you're like drywalling or putting, not like me, because when I'm going to hang something, I'm that girl that's going to use a tack and everything else and make my husband like roll his eyes 1,000 times as we hear the picture drop. But he does it like proper. It's a plug, the drywall plug first. Maybe if I'm using that term correctly. Anchoring. Anchoring the seed of what it is that now that you're free, you kind of have like free form. Somebody also might be really good at projecting energy out. And I'm not talking about like, oh, projecting in the whole scope of projecting. I mean, like you're sitting, or whatever it is that you're listening to or doing or nothing, and you extend your energy out. So, yes, I am here, I am awake, but your energy sends out maybe through like this space. So it's not like lucid dreaming, but it's kind of in the same scope of it. It's very curious. You might even see yourself sometimes in this form, like if you were sleeping and maybe having an out of body experience. And then you're like, oh, that's me. Weird. Anyway, okay, let's add on a few cards and then I will let you go. This is wild. I love it. And thank you to the member of the inner circle correction member. So thank you for bringing up these inspirations for us to travel through different lenses of light and illumination alike. I just also want to note that whatever it is that you're putting down as your seed to sprout, pentacle oriented, earth oriented for you, feels rich. Feels rich. And a rich DNA, if somebody's also been working on DNA stuff, lineage stuff, however you're going to apply it. Oh, I just heard like applied knowledge, applied sciences. Applied sciences. Justice. Notice that window up there. It's there. Cave of Earth fires. The polarities, the black and the white crows or ravens. Your ability to see. You know what it is? It means that even when like if it's super foggy and you can't see, you know when to stand still. You know when to stop moving. You know when something, you listen when it's not safe. Your instincts say it's super foggy, we're driving, I can't see, so I'm going to pull over and we'll go into the store and have a coffee or something like that. That's a good, powerful, safe decision. Your instinct says yes. Your intuition says yes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, that's what this shit is here. I've got so many feathers around my face. Instinct and intuition. It's a powerful, powerful partnership here. Oh, not so much, not so much. King of Swords. You know you got protection and support. And meet up with your bison, your spirit guide. Maybe you have been more often than not. What's on the bottom? The Lovers, because nothing else was coming through. The Lovers, the polarity Lovers, the justice of all of that, universal justice, seeds planting. Man, you're smart as a whip. Maybe you got wisps too. It's very feathery here. Very, very feathery. I feel like even trees, like their branches, as maybe you're walking through, like tree branches, like touch you. It's really them like reaching out, talking to you, or grounding with you, helping you. And I think for something else before I let you go, there's something about love in the extension of romance or friendship that is being repaired. Yeah. Yeah. And you might be like really taking the time to repair that if there's been a trauma or something has happened, maybe a breakup or whatever the case, an injustice. And your internal process of that inevitably like forges the fire within to love again. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna leave this one here. I kind of have a smooshy feeling, and I love when there's a smooshy feeling. It feels calm. Maybe you're utilizing humming as a soothing mechanism. You know, some people whistle while they work, and other people might what a humzinger. Did you ever play that game when you're it's like from the 70s with all the 70s music? Oh, it was great. Anyway, thank you so much as always for visiting. Yeah, anti-Inkblot Oracle once a week. I will see you next Saturday, of course. All the links are below in the description box if you want to join us for the May Live over at the House of Scrying on Zoom, May 15th, maybe. Oracle deck, you know, all the things. And if not, you want to snoop around, visit thehouseofscrying.com. And until then, bye. So much love. Welcome, number 3, to Transparent. All right, what I want to note here is the sun. How you doing over there? The light is literally blinding. You might not be able to see this ink blot at all. So you know as well, when I don't wear my glasses, I use the blur to my advantage. So we're going to dive in and just let it be. Okay, there is like a tribal mask stepping forward. Looks like an old kind of a medicine man, medicine woman. Their mask is elaborate. And there might even be something about like paint on the face. There's somebody with a book here. They also have horns, but it feels more of like maybe a gazelle is the closest thing. They feel like elegant horns. And it's almost as if in the perception of what we might call Maleficent. Something is squeezing. It's getting closer. So there's something about a squeeze. If you're here, it's almost as like when I said the word squeeze, I could squeeze my eyes, maybe in a spirit of squint to squeeze or squint to see. And if I recall coming from number 2, it was almost like this little bit of like astigmatism, and being able to, I'm hearing the song, Blinded by Light. You're not blinded by the light. There's something like harmonizing that you can do, or that you do, that do that you do, that voodoo that you do every time you're doing that thing you do. Where is that from? Maybe the 40s? Is that okay? Being part of a band. Maybe you see your team, your spirit team, as a band, or everyone has their specialty, and yet there is some crossover. Crossover seems to be the key here. Crossing over. Do you help souls cross over? Do you have a very distinct, energetic knowing of your being here-ness crossing over from spirit form into physical form? It's like there's this even like past lives when you were young, seeing spirit, it was very normal, it was natural, there was nothing you needed to learn, there was nothing you needed to train or do, and then it kind of gets lost in the remembering, or the focuses, different focuses come into play, and it's like, these are the things that matter the most. Grow up, get a job, and they're all great things. I don't want this moment to feel like a lost and found. And how great it is, though, when you do find something that you feel was lost, or you go back to a place where you're like, oh, I left my phone here, or I left this cufflink, and you go back to the place and you're like, oh yeah, somebody brought it in, it's here. There's such an excitement when that happens, because it's like you notice, oh, I don't have this anymore. Where was the last place I left it? Where did I have it? And it's like you can, okay, so maybe it's like crossroadies. Something also too past life oriented, in the spirit of, again, I feel like I'm young, but that doesn't mean it has to be a physical age of young, but it seems to be the most effortless, and you remember certain things of who you were. It's like, what are you talking about? I was like this 84-year-old person that had, like, I lived a whole life, and now I'm this wee babe that's like, how do I move my arms? Like, what? You know what I mean? It's something along that lines. And it's almost like that point of reference, as I just heard, is a seed of remembering, but maybe to continue something on, but without having all of the stipulations from another time that could be a burden and hold us back. This feels like, take the seed of what we would say is like the teaching, the lesson, the learning, and now you're in another lifetime that is about exploring and expanding this. And you know, especially if you come from the house of scrying, we're all about the exploring and expanding, but not to the degree that it takes us to a space of ungroundedness, but to come back to this point of which you're at, and you're like, okay, maybe you have an affinity for something, because there's infinity energy here, infinite beingness, infinite potential. And if we carried with us the things that you have already been through, conquered, persevered, maybe, not saying for all, but maybe they would hold us back in that form, because we worked so hard for that form to come into focus. And I'm squinting again. There's an archway in here, if you can see it with me, and there's more than I, you, we, me here. Maybe this is different parts of you. Maybe this is that band. Maybe you have an affinity for seeing like an orchestra, how things are orchestrated, and how medicine, I've never done it, and I'm always very clear to say, as psychonauts, existence explorers, to the psychedelics, but this has an air of maybe it is journeying or having a therapeutic experience that gives you enough knowing without the pins of dissecting something as a distraction, DMT type feel. Is it, yeah, we're in transparent? Yes. Okay. You sometimes have to like rub your eyes. Did I just see that? There seems to be a focus on the physical senses because there's this. Do you know when you buy a new TV or phone and they have that clear film over it? And how delicious that moment is to know that the screen or the TV's never been touched, no dust, nothing. And then you peel it off. That's the best way I can say this moment is. There's somebody sitting here, kind of like a high chair again from when you were a kid, but when I'm seeing you like as a babe, but I'm seeing you as like a full-grown being. Fascinating to see somebody that would be a babe, embodied as a babe, toddler, and yet they are full grown in that space. And I can see it sitting here, legs down. Something about your knees and or shins, there's a being there making work on it. This is this medicine. I know you guys can't see it, but the blur to you are the bleu, because I don't think this kind of also may be indicative of sometimes your energy, people can't make sense of it. They're like, I can't quite see what you're about. Your lightness in the contrast of said darkness feels like a little bit of a scramble, like trying to get a station to come in to tune old day style, rabbit ears, but you listen. That's feels like their perception out to you. They're trying to make sense of something. Fair enough, sure. But I'm not really sure why. It's their own antenna. It's their own antenna. Okay. Something about the invisible man. And there's somebody hooked up to wires and such. Grounding wires. I feel a little bit, what's this? It's a little creepy, so I'll do my best. Okay, yeah, like, okay, so like if you're sitting and there's just so many things going on here. And they got your hands tied behind your back, but I don't see them tied like this. No. Okay. Nature's healing powers here in the Cave of Ice. I love this. New season is upon Ayuimi. Your spirit band. It's the best I'm going to use. Yeah. It's here. It's in this archway. Thank you. It's like seeing croquet. And you put those spiky little archway things in the ground and you create your own course. So something like croquet land, something about that. But you have the ability. Oh, okay. You know what else it is? So there's this space that I think that if this isn't for you, thank you for holding space for others to receive it. There's been somebody like popping in and out of your locality. Okay. And when I say locality, I mean like maybe it's your home or something. And they've been caught. They've been caught. And now there's a questioning happening because were they sent? Are they of you? Are they, and I'm going to say it because it's blatantly here. Now, however you relate to it is up to you, a time traveler. Why are they poking their nose around your location? Why do they want to know your location? Now, if in the spirit realm you're like, whatevs, no, that's not. Maybe if I'm like, I'm asking for it to come closer to the modern world because it's like, maybe it's like having the location on your phone. You have children, you want to know their location. Awesome, awesome. Maybe there's somebody that has like a device or something in the spirit of like our cars nowadays. Not my cars. My cars are old. But maybe your car, they know where you are, like a GPS mapping system, and they're so helpful. And and dot dot dot. But in this spirit, it feels like there is something that you have the capability to either like portal pop. What is this? Am I seeing a show or something? Um, I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's a person in this movie that can time jump. Maybe it's jumpers. And because I'm also seeing it like cable and that grounding, like you want to ground things first, and where your grounding point is. Jumpers. This is really interesting. Jumpers. Oh, and that's why it's like blurry, even though I can see this medicinal tribal person, place, or thing stepping forward, because it's like they are. Oh, they're now I'm seeing like a stretch band, the capacity to almost like stretch time or make portals bigger. I'm seeing it like not Roger Rabbit, Bugs Bunny. And he could like take a, if he needed to flop into a hole to get rid of something, he could just plop a hole down and go down and then take the hole with him. Yeah, saying something about that. I'm not sure if I'm taking something off or on. Okay, so this is the example I just heard. Can you see it this way? No, like it. Oh, like it's just the way. It's fine. The way I heard this is something about maybe politics of it. Like, say, a doctor can do the procedure or something to help somebody, but there's some sort of politics and the why they can't. So that let's in this example, this doctor or surgeon or whatever can't do it because of dot dot dot. There's a lot of dot dot dots here. Because, well, that's, I can't because of the policy. And it's something what feels like the right thing. Okay, better said, with nature's healing power here, why I got into this. It's like somebody whose parent got sick or had maybe a mental illness, or people that they cared about, and when they grew up they said, I want to help people. So you become a therapist or a surgeon or a doctor or something like that. You become something. It feels like a purpose that is really supported by an orchestra, a team. And then every so often, it's like these little things come up against and be like, something's made complicated. And it's unfortunate because it feels like this policy or complication says, well, I can't, it forces you to say, I can't help. I can't do that, even though it's the right thing to do or whatever whatever the thing is, because the punishment or the consequence of would actually stop being able to help at all. And so there's, yeah, intuitive walking is sitting here. So it's kind of like walking towards and walking away, but with this blur, but also these beings with you. And you might work with beings because you are being, you are part of the beings. You're the lead singer in this life of this band of spirits. You are the lead, you are the one in density. And so you're the rock star. They're very supportive of this, but there's some sort of constraint that's come up recently that you're like, how do I deal with this? Walk towards, walk away, walk towards, walk away. And is there a third way? Because the wampum agreement, indigenously First Nations came up. So it could be something like, does it inspire like outside of the box? I want to come back to like this kind of like prisoner situation, finding information out. So you might be finding information out that kind of comes from someone or something that, I don't know, it feels like hovery. Like imagine catching, oh my gosh, imagine catching, not to punish and not to torture, but imagine capturing a man in black type thing in the lore, in the myth of the legend. Like at this point, they don't even need to exist. They already exist as a concept by the stories that we tell. So whether or not there is a department or isn't, it doesn't matter because it exists now in our minds. And I think it's also like in these, like maybe you're a timeline jumper or there's something about that. You're a portal pop and being. Oh, I quite enjoy it. To be honest with you, it's quite fun. In the Cave of Winds is truth. 23. My Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson number. The great of the greats. The great of the greats. So imagine this band in the spirit of basketball, but I know nothing about basketball, so I'm going to throw out names. It's like taking Michael Jordan. I don't know. Kobe Bryant, is that a name? Pick other names and make a team of just those people. No. And that's not as a space to be like, everybody else sucks. No. This is honoring the greatness. It's not about highlighting the gap, but maybe there is something you're noticing about the gap. But here I want to acknowledge in your mind of minds is associating with the greatness that you be, the greatness that you practice to be, that you are, and have carried through most likely lifetimes in the spirit of the kind of like the same, like jumping through. In the Cave of Hearth Fires is turn on switch. I like that little smile that's in there. I'm grateful. I feel grateful in this moment that you're getting an answer to something. Something does clear up. Like maybe when this was flipped, it's like, what? Why are you in my locality? Something is like, oh, okay, all right. And then maybe it lets you know. Maybe this is something that's been quote unquote. Why did I say quote unquote? I literally did it. Following you for lifetimes, been jumping around lifetimes portal, because maybe there's also been this like a little bit of like escape, you know, gotta get as far away from something as possible. But I'm grateful for this information that comes forward to you. It's very illuminating. I'm seeing Woodstock from the Peanuts as well. And someone or something, when I was putting something on or off, now they're carrying water. It's almost like balancing truths. In the Cave of Rivers is Masters of Mediumship. See that light shining through? Blinding if that's what you're looking at, but this is what's here. Right there. Some of you also might work with the Akashic Records or Akasha. Access to. Somebody here, your psychic senses are changing. It feels like you're in the dark for a little bit because they just kind of like shut off. It feels like maybe the cards didn't speak. There's no commotion. There's no activity. Silence. So there is a gathering going on in that time. And you were a part of it in some realm, in some way, shape, or form, because you needed to decide how you wanted to proceed and reaffirm or change the why of it, like kind of like the doctor thing, to remember why you became a doctor, why you continued to become a surgeon, or why you started in the restaurant as a hostess or host, and then your why of you became a server and you learned the menu and you tried the foods, and then why you became a chef, the why of it, not the explanation, but the spark of that. And this is what comes back in, this piece. This is right here. This is the door right here. What I'm looking at as I'm saying, like the Akashic access, but I think it's just access in general to whatever your specialty is or what you're deciding you would like your specialty to be. This is not something one needs to worry about being defined forever. Like, well, if imagine being a kid, right? And you're like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, oh, I want to be a teacher. Okay. It's like you can go through that to be a teacher, and then at some point in time maybe it's not enough and you might carry guilt with that, or you're like, oh, I'm a grade 4 teacher, but I would like to, whatever people would do to do the things to become a professor or a high school teacher, a principal, change your position in that place. Your experiences come with you. It's not killing that part of you. And it's also making room for somebody else who's waiting to start, or that's been in another position that's like, you know what, I would just like to teach grade 5. Not because it's just teach grade 5, but in comparison, that's what they're being called to do. And that opens it up. So in this weird way that I'm saying this, is when student, teacher, master, student, the elder must move on, because it opens up those positions for the new age, for those waiting for their windows to put something into play. And so it may be sometimes if we're feeling stuck, it's because we're staying somewhere too long. And it could be an engagement to say, student again, maybe it's time. But that carries with you your masterness in other areas. Yeah. I probably am not saying it right. On the bottom is the I am presence, and this curating kind of feel within the light and the dark, the fire and the water. I'm also seeing as I'm stepping in that space of like fire and water, hot and cold temperance might be coming in this turn on switch. It's, you know, like usual taps are like hot and cold, and then there's some that are just like the one, like maybe sometimes shower ones are like that, and then you just have the one dial that goes between one or the other. Soul guidance is stepping forward. I also think it, to some degree or another, depending on how far I went through it, you might be a guide for souls crossing over, psychopomp style, caretakers, hospice workers, something in relation to helping people cross a threshold from, say, being addicted to not addicted, to driving automatic, driving stick, I don't know, driving a motorcycle to a car. They're different. Yes, you know how to drive, but there's different things in ATV, roller skating to rollerblading. There's something about transitions where the lines are blurry, but it's just like a, and it clears, the smoke clears, any confusion clears just by stepping in. And maybe not squinting with the whole body, like stress is how I just felt that. It's like the whole body. Yeah, there's an acclimation period for sure. For sure. But as a master, it's kind of like I get excited about that in the space of you being here. You as the master. It's like I'm excited to like brace to fall if you're roller skating or rollerblading. You're like, oh, I'm nervous. And it's kind of like exciting. The master knows it's exciting. Doesn't mean that the nervousness goes away or the confidence to be like, well, I can conquer this because of whatever. It's, I'm here for the experience of this. And maybe you help yourself or parts of yourself. But there's also very clearly something about being a soul guide here and now, and you help other people maybe even cross their concepts and constructs because they want to. That's why they're there. They are being called, and they have said and spoken out into the world to their team and guides to be like, okay, I would like to deal with this, interact with this. And so, as we know in synchronicity, people, places, or things will appear. And you appear. Energy scanning comes out with that. Yeah, and you appear and you do your due diligence. You absolutely always remain due diligence. That medicine man or woman keeps coming through in the blur. On the bottom is evidence of spirit. You get the synchronicities. Even if I may, thank you, like from the light that is here, that is the inkblot that you cannot see, but it's there. And the colored space between these, it's all blurry. But it does come into form. It does come into shape, but just maybe not. It's like, where's the evidence that the synchronicities to help you decide to work towards walk away? And maybe in some way, shape, or form, in this transparency, it's about transparency of truth. Your truth. And that's not pressed upon anyone else, but it does attract others who are inspired by it. And maybe they too will become a teacher. It's like having a great teacher and they inspire you to be a teacher, but you don't become the exact same teacher as them. Maybe they were a woodworking teacher, but your affinity is for math and you become a math teacher, or you go through the experience to become a math tutor. You know what I mean? Like, or you, I don't know, it doesn't have to be this position on a resume. It can just be the experience that expresses that interest and honor and crosses it into this whole opening. I admit in this moment, I'm just like, I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for this food, whether that's prayer for you or a namaste as a greeting, as konnichiwa, welcome, hello. I feel very, very grateful that you are you. And it's understandable that maybe you've had to work through things, knowings that you have. And it's like in this space, something makes sense spontaneously. Okay. Let's on a few more cards and then I'll let you go. Thank you for sharing, and subscribing if you're still here, and for checking out 1 and 2 at your own time. You can always come back whenever, and I love that. Thank you for being part of the inner circle if you have decided to become a part, or check out the House of Scrying website. All the good things. All the good things. Oh my gosh. All the good things. If you would like to make an appearance, our monthly live is coming up as well. Okay, no, we have to go that way. All right. Oh, what was this? Vanity, looking in the mirror. I read art first. The fantastic thing about this is it's like using the mirror to look behind you. Side view mirrors in the car, your motorcycle, or if you're walking, I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing. The past is kind of like, this is what I want to say as I hear it and feel it. Anything that has happened, the past to present, is not in vain. Okay, it's just not in vain. You have decided, if it's not by making mountains out of molehills, but you've just decided that if something large happened, that maybe the meaning could be very small. The seed of the meaning becomes a tree that is of the healing power. And some sort of molehill has great meaning and has opened up a whole world. And so you can look back as a reflection, as a checking point when you're in reverse, because maybe you're tuning in and tapping in to help somebody that you can reference by time jumping, memory jumping, time traveling, working through quantum mechanics of the metaphysical. Not qualified to say any of these words, but here they are. But they might be your words. They might be words of seeds that open up, or what feels more natural to you. And your truths and whatever that may be for you make an appearance, maybe to remind you of the whys. Why are you doing this in the first place? And asking that question and getting down to the nitty gritty with oneself, where, yeah, it might be a little blurry. It might be a little blurry. And so you can go down. It's like, I'm seeing it like a pool that's opening up for the season, and you got to clear the water, use the right chemical, get the pH balance. The things. We're in the tangible realm. It's okay to like the things. It's also okay to be a minimalist. What's standing out to me is the broom. If the broom means anything to you or has any sort of symbolism that speaks, that is for you. Masters of Mediumship in the Cave of Rivers over there. Disconnect. By going through that door and having access, there might be others or parts of ourselves, whatever the case is, that are like, what's that saying? Like, they're just not coming with you. That is not an insult to them. The Michael Jordans, the insert really good basketball players, Michael Jackson, insert other greats of the great. By honoring that part of you or that aspect of you is not insulting or threatening to anyone else around you. If you bump up with somebody that is also great at what they do, it is not it's honoring the greatness that they're being, because they're not stuck in becoming, but they're in becoming because they understand that. Anyway, so some people just aren't coming with you. And so maybe, I don't know, it is what it is. It's like not everyone has a library card. I don't know. Do people have a library card? I have a library card. And that means you can't rent out a book. Like, it's really that simple. And sometimes it's so simple. It's like, well, why don't I have access to this or that? Because you go through the very clearly laid out process to say, I'd like to get a library book. Okay. This is the form. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. These are the rules. You respect them, or we fine you. It's very simple. It's very simple to respect that if you agree to it. And also when people, if they haven't been respecting your clearly laid things out, as long as we're not making it convoluted and ridiculous so that we're, clever and, oh, I'm so complicated and that nobody can understand me or know me. There's probably reasoning for that. Maybe we don't want to be known. Anyway, I'm not here to get the gist. In this space here and now, your band is watching you come through that door. They have led you to this door. Your band, your spirit team, however you communicate with them. And they are so freaking proud of you because this space has been an emotional journey. Man, an emotional journey. And again, I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, it's been so emotional. But I also want to acknowledge it's been a thing. If you, in the example that's coming through, it's like going from homelessness to home, to having a trailer, an apartment, and the things that you go through to keep yourself in a certain state or remind yourself to go from non-addict to addict to non-addict. Like, freaking take the applause. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like they're standing here watching you as you go through. And now the door's like closing because there's no going back. You can just take a look. You can just be like, one eye open. What's going on? Okay. I think there's a reason why this. I wonder if that was the book too in the beginning of the gazelle. There's also a big old moth butterfly. It is a moth butterfly mix because it's both day and night. And it seems to be like all light here all the time. Do I feel like there's a lack, if I may, or a lessening, like, where's the dark? Where's the void? Something might be too good to be true. Look at that squint. Even if your whole body is stressed and you're like, trust that. When someone or something says truth, oh, no, it's like that saying, I'm a nice person. That doesn't mean you're a good person. And that doesn't mean that, kindness and nice and good, they're not interchangeable. When someone, even of yourself, is like, yeah, I'm a good person, but not even a but. I have a spite side, I get a fiery side when I feel defensive and justice or whatever the case is, and it turns on. Somebody acknowledging that dark part of themselves that we'll call dark, but it's also just light, anyway. You're like, oh, truth is here. Love this. There's actually room here. Not hiding behind the blindness of goodness being behind greatness, because maybe sometimes to be great at what you do, you've had to do things that don't appear to be good for others. Or maybe sometimes we've learned that through not being good to ourselves. And that sucks, but you transmuted it into great. Probably I'm not saying it right, but medicine man, medicine woman at work. I love it. Time after time. I love that time has come through here. I roll time the way I'm seeing it. We've talked about time jumpers. Communication is on the bottom. Battling, it's like watching present, past, future. No, you. Again, if there's this feeling of being like chased or followed over lifetimes or something like that, I feels like it's coming to a close. you're the closer. You know what I mean? If you're ever on a team and maybe it's like the salesperson, and then you have the contracts person, and then you have another person in this, and then you have the closer. They go in, they close the deal. Closing the deal here. Some sort of time loop. Stop. Scan, you take a look to see if time, the temperature, and the truth, you're turned on. You're like, and maybe you are. You're like, maybe there's love in the air, and you're like, romance, something gets you fired up. Or you're just like, truth is here. In time, truth will be revealed. That kind of thing. Someone's quote unquote true colors that maybe was, and again, I'm not trying to like crap on, what we could say is like, oh, favoring the dark or poo-pooing the light workers. These are just very big blanket umbrella terms that can be in sandwich makers to homemakers to parents, being like, some of the like was like keeping up with the Joneses when they're like, oh, my mom's so lovely. And they're like, oh, yes. Oh, lovely. But at home, they're ravagely beating or passive aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but on the surface, everyone thinks, oh my goodness, you have the best life. Your parents are so nice. And yet they're not. You know. And now it's kind of like sitting back and scanning your environment, your locality, also noting who might be scanning looking for you. I don't know where this message went, but here we are. I think I'm going to leave it just kind of like, boop. You also might use things to heal. Nature, herbs. I'm back to like the original like medicine man, medicine woman, but then now they've gone like one was more like psychonautic, like journey out there, DMT figures or something along that lines. You're very grateful for what you learn. You bring it back. You do your thing. Somebody else is like you go for walks and you find things on your path, a rock, a pebble, a feather. I don't know the things, and you know how you can use them or alchemize them into whatever your way is to extend the helping. And for someone or a few of us here, the fact that you've been through a lot of hurt and are still a helper and you have not perpetuated a cycle that was almost like easier to fall into the mill of, the abuser becomes the abusee and compassion. But in this case, you did not do that. You didn't. You're like, no, I understand that. I'm not going to be a blind helper and ignoring the bad in the world or the sad or that. You're aware, but it doesn't dictate. It's not a dictator of your divinity, of your density, of your dominion, and its power wields way less than what it gives off it does. And that's pretty freaking impressive, because whether it's through nature's healing power of herbs, medicine, etc., you are a guide here, the front band singer for others to help themselves while in time. Okay, now I'm done. I hope this would serve, inspire, educate, or entertain. I will see you next week. Thank you so much. I'm sure I'm repeating myself, but sorry, not sorry. Everything's in the description box below. I hope you did enjoy. Until next time, much love.